and welcome to I Want a Break Holiday, where I'm looking at Australia and particularly Sydney and different parts of Sydney. And so tonight we're looking at Circular Quay, which is basically the harbour that's around Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge. So this is a picture of the Circular Quay, and as you can see, it's got the Opera House and the bridge and all the boats in between. So Circular Quay is one of the first stops of any Sydney schedule because of its prime position on the harbour. This is the place to take in the majesty of its iconic structures which overlook the glittering water. As the city's main ferry terminal, it's also a great spot to kick off your sightseeing activities. So here are the highlights. We've got, as I said, Sydney Harbour Bridge, Sydney Opera House, both of which should be fairly familiar to most people. We've got the Contemporary Museum of Contemporary Art, and some other ones, but I can't get the tab to move. So I'll go down instead. So here we go. We've got things to do in Circular Quay. Circular Quay is the Sydney Cove, is bordered by the Sydney Opera House and the Royal Botanic Garden on the one side and Sydney Harbour Bridge on the other. If you only have a short time in town, this will give you bang for your sightseeing buck. If you can linger longer, catch a ferry across the sparkling harbour to Manly, Watsons Bay, Taronga Zoo, or under Sydney Harbour Bridge along the Parramatta River to check out the UNESCO World Heritage listed convict sites of Parramatta Park and Old Government House in Parramatta. The Sydney Opera House isn't just a World Heritage listed architectural masterpiece, it also hosts world-class shows. See the exciting events calendar by logging onto their website, or you can take a backstage tour. While the Botanic Garden isn't just the native flora, it also exhibits the Calyx, a purpose-built horticultural exhibition space and annual opera shows on the harbour. So the Western Quay, of the side of the quay, is home to the Museum of Contemporary Art in the Rocks, where the British colony began in 1788. Stroll to the eastern side of the quay and explore Sydney's dark past at the Justice and Police Museum, housed in a former colonial court and police station. Walk along the foreshore and be rewarded with spectacular views. Wander under the world's largest steel arch bridge to Walsh Bay, a theatre precinct with heritage wharfs. Follow the same path along the water and you'll arrive at Barangaroo Reserve. If you continue further down, you'll get to the Barangaroo Precinct. So this is the Barangaroo Reserve, this picture here. It's a great range of tours lead from the quay, including guided walks, tall ships, jet boats, delicious lunch and dinner cruises, and Aboriginal-led tribal warrior harbour cruises. Between May and November, you can do some whale watching, and there's a cruise for that. And you can depart for the ocean side. Depart for the ocean outside the heads to spot the humpbacks. And there's a picture of a humpback whale and a boat. That's a pretty successful tour if you ask me. I've been whale watching and never seen any whales. But anyway, it looks good there. You can eat and drink around the quay, and there's a large amount of restaurants and bars, including the acclaimed fine dining restaurants Quay, Aria and Bennelong, which is housed inside one of the Opera House's white sails. For stunning harbour views, head for Sydney Cafe Sydney on the rooftop of the heritage-listed Customs House, or Hyde Hacienda in the Pullman Quay ground. So that's Cafe Sydney. That does look rather stunning. Look at the picture of that bridge in the background. Right. Hinchcliffe House is a new 4-level dining destination set in Heritage Wool Store. The Gateway Food Court is home to over 30 fast casual dining options, and nearby Mary's Circular Quay does a mean cheeseburger. Head to Tapa Vino for Spanish tapas. Bar Patron offers Mexican fare, and Botanic House is Pan-Asian restaurant in the Royal Botanic Garden. So the Squires Landing is a brew house boasting world-class views on the northern end of the overseas passenger terminal and cruise bar. In the same building, it's all about cocktails. On the other side of the harbour, Opera Bar is a favourite with the locals and tourists alike, again for its stunning views. And this picture here is Hyde Hacienda Sydney Bar and Lounge, which also looks quite stunning. The drinks look good too. Right, getting to Circular Quay is one of Sydney's major transport hubs, making it a great base to explore the city on public transport. Its main ferry terminal in Sydney, plus there's a light rail and trains and buses which will take you all over the city. So these are the ferries coming in and out of Circular Quay. Right, there's plenty of restaurants. As it said, there's a nice link here. And there's some good accommodation. And then you can look for 3 things to do in Sydney on a first visit. And then there's some hotels. This is quite a good site for looking at Sydney. It's called sydney.com. It's got all the good information. But let's go back to this stunning picture here of Circular Quay itself. So there you go. That's all the information you need for Circular Quay. If you're visiting Sydney, please like and share on my page and follow the channel, and speak to you soon.